Good evening everyone and welcome to League of Europe. We are here of course for an F1 2020. It is round 11 of the Division 1 Championship as we take in Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, the historic track in Belgium for the Belgian Grand Prix. My name is James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream as always. And it wouldn't have been a stream without him. Joining me in the commentary box is, of course, Mr. Daniel Field. And Dan, we're here tonight in Belgium. Promises to be a really exciting race. First of all, how are you doing? And second of all, what can we expect?
For one, I'm doing brilliant at the moment. Cannot wait for this Grand Prix to start, and we can expect a lot of overtakes around here and some hard-fought racing. Of course, 7 kilometers this circuit that is per lap, and that is going to be 22 laps in total. So the shortest amount of lap numbers, and that's just going to mean that these guys have less and less time to get by each other. So it's going to be quite a hard-fought one today, I think, and we're going to see a lot of good action tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating, I think, to see. We always say this every week. It's going to be fascinating, but especially around a track like Belgium, be prepared for an overtake fest and maybe even be prepared for the race of the season. I'm calling it now, even before we start going into qualifying and the likes. Alpha Trixel took the win last time out, though, in Hungary, and it was more of the same, I'm afraid to say, in Division 1. Alphatrix took the win, Montana second, but Suku landed his second podium of the season, finishing in third in Hungary. What did that do to the title, the championship standings? Well, Alphatrix leads. He's now 8 points in front of Montana. He was a point in front, remember, in Britain, but after Britain, I should say, but into Hungary, he's 8 points clear of Montana, 199 to 191. Verstappen in third on 63 points, with Daniel in fourth and Campbell in fifth, 56 points, and Campbell on 53, along with Rocco also on 53. Neo in 7th on 51, with Killblue in 8th on 51, Spine in 9th on 43, and then a whole host of drivers on 39 points. Cohen, Toxic and Suku all on 39 points, tied for 10th. Bolin is in behind on 30 points in 13th, with Larkin in 14th on 29, just Asas in 15th on 27, Dropier in 16th, hasn't attended the last couple of races, he's back here tonight, he's in 16th on 21, Chapelelli in 17th on 19, he's missing here tonight as well, Josh M 97 is in 18th on 15 points. You can tell I'm getting confused with my numbers already. M Short in 19th on 14 points, and Kooky Games and Daka have also scored points so far this season on 9 and 8 points respectively. And we're going to be seeing the action start in just a couple of minutes out on track. But we do have a new driver actually in tonight, in the shape of CPI Connor. Now, I've commentated along Connor mainly within the mini leagues that we run, of course, in TTML. How do you rate his chances? Because obviously he's been a Division 2 driver, another one making the jump up to Division 1. How do you rate his chances coming into tonight? It's going to be a big ask, I think.
It'd be certainly very nerve-wracking moving up to the top division in League of Europe, and he could be a lot like Matthias, who's not had the best start to his Division 1 campaign this season, and he might need a couple races to adjust, or he could be like M Short, fit right in and drive it to his absolute best. So it is really going to be a bit of a test for him. He could go one of two ways, a bit of a fork in the road now, and it's up to him to decide where he goes from there, and he's just got to prove it tonight and drive as consistently as possible. But I think he's got a good chance if he can just get his car beneath him.
Yeah, he has had internet issues in the past as well, so we'll not dwell on that. Hopefully that doesn't happen here tonight in League of Europe, but hopefully we're going to be seeing some good action. We're about to get underway, I think. We're about a minute away from us starting. Constructors' standings is as follows. Williams and Alfa Romeo have really been dominating affairs. And once again, it's still Williams who leads in the Constructors on 250 points, with Alfa Romeo in second on 234. AlphaTauri in third, a mile back on 102 points, with Ferrari in fourth on 95, Mercedes in fifth on 76, McLaren in sixth on 60, Renault in seventh on 59, then Haas in eighth on 53, Racing Point in ninth on 48, and Red Bull in 10th on 26 points. We're just waiting now for us to get into the lobby, and it's going to be, as soon as I say that, we get into the lobby. Of course, we are here, over 7 kilometres in length here around at Belgium. 19 turns await the drivers out on track tonight. and it's one of these tracks that both drivers love and viewers love as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and it can also throw us a spanner in the work in the terms of the weather. It's not like Bahrain where it's going to guarantee to be dry. You can really have quite some variety around here when it comes to the weather, so I wouldn't be too shocked if we saw some heavy rain out on circuit. Only time will tell. We're just waiting for Rocco and Suku on my screen to load in, and then we will get underway as... Yeah, we just got to wait for Suku, the last driver, to ready up, choose his tyres. We've got a couple of reserves coming in tonight. I believe Baki isn't here, and he's going to be filled in by just Asas. Then Gary's also not here, and Dropj is going to take his place. And as you mentioned before, I believe Daka isn't here, and CPI Connor, the new guy on the block, is going to be moving into Division 1.
Yeah, just to speak on Gary for a point as well, he's actually been moved down to Division 2. That move with Connor coming into Division 1 and a couple of other drivers, in fact, coming up to Division 1, is impacting on Gary. So Gary, unfortunately, and I know I hate to say this, he's moved down to Division 2. It's been an absolute privilege to commentate on him for the last few races over the season. It's so unfortunate. I know the organisation team won't know what to do with themselves, to be honest, with Gary now gone in Division 1. But Montana is not first out on track this time. And it looks like, I think, it's Killer Blue who was first out on track, and it is. The Brit has beaten Montana for only the second time this season. Montana has not came out the pit lane first.
I'm lost for words at the moment. I actually don't believe this. I'd imagine Montana's going to try, use the slipstream on the straight, activate the DRS. Here he goes on Killer Blue. Down the straight they go. He actually wants to overtake him here. He wants to be the first one out. They're going to battle on the outlap.
Yeah, Montana has got through on Killer Blue, running up into Lecombe, and already a minute into qualifying, and we've already got an overtake here in qualifying. Not the race, in qualifying. Montana, though, now is first out on track, and he's been under the caution a little bit lately, I think. Alphatrix has taken the last 2 wins, both in Britain and Hungary. Montana, I think this is his best chance and his best track, I think, to come back and bite at Alphatrix.
Yeah, Alphatrix beginning to form a little bit of a gap in the pair of them. So it is really going to be up to Montana tonight. He's just got to drive how he has done so far this season and be as quick as possible and really take the fight to Alphatrix. I believe there wasn't too much time in them at the end of Hungary last week, if I'm not mistaken, but they're certainly pretty much level on pace. There are 2 sides of the same coin, and it's probably going to be one or the other, but maybe we've still got some other drivers who can throw the spanner in the works and get in between these two and start fighting with them as well, but only time will tell once we get into the race, as Montana is going to start us off for the first lap of this session.
Very wide exit coming off the bus stop chicane, and that's to try and prioritise the run and try and prioritise the speed down into the source, which is the hairpin. Yellow flags in sector 3, don't worry about that, everyone just preparing up for their laps. Montana reaches La Source through turn 1, scene of course of that famous crash in 2012. Grosjean, Alonso, Hamilton involved in all of that, as now Montana runs down the hill through a Rouge and Radion. As beautifully done through that, just had to lift off with the throttle there, and that was beautiful from Montana. Now coming down towards Lecombe, and Lecombe now, of course, 29.7 through the first sector for Montana. Lecombe now through 6, 7 and 8 out on track. Montana really putting the corners together as he now comes down towards Bruxelles. This is counted as 2 corners, turn 9 and turn 10, and then we run through in towards turn 11 at X corner. We're pretty much halfway through the lap at this point. Expect the guys to be in and around the high 140s, low 141s, I think, for pole position is what you can expect here tonight as he flies coming through the double gauche, or better known of course as Puon. Now into campus section. This is through turns 12 and 13 out on track, and really coming through here is Montana as he comes towards this middle sector split and then towards the likes of Stavilo and then Blanchimont afterwards. 113 flat is pretty much exactly where he wants to be. Of course, as the track evolves and as the condition evolves, the drivers might be wanting to try and settle time. Now coming through Blanchimont is Montana, and he'll fly through here flat out at 199 mile an hour. Slight bit of lift is going through the camber of the corner, but now Montana coming into the bus stop chicane, heavy on the brakes. Now taking a second gear, downs it to first briefly, and then up and towards second gear again. Montana across the line, 141 flat, and that is how you start off a qualifying session here. Alpha Trix has also won a lap time as well, 112.8. He's 2/10 quicker than Montana at this stage, so we'll come on board with him as he comes through now through Blanchimont and then up towards bus stop chicane at turns 18 and 19. D. Daniel has gone second, Kuki comes third, Cohen fourth. Spine goes quickest, however, and beats his teammate by 24 hundredths of a second. Alphatrix now to the line is going to beat them both, I feel. 40.8. We're already into the 140s, and we're not even 5 minutes into qualifying.
Yeah, I was watching Alphatrix for a lot of that lap, and all I can say is it was as smooth as silk, a brilliant run from him, and the first drive into the 1 minute 40 is a really clean run from him, and so they're all just beginning to finish up on their laps. We've got the new guy, CPR Connor, on the block, and unfortunately he invalidated on his run, so he's going to go again. That would have been a 141.4, which I'd actually seen him in 6th position, so already doing a pretty good job so far in Division 1. Doom also has invalidated. That makes Matthias, who's also invalidated. I can't find anyone on a valid lap at the moment. We got Neo, who's going to be the next one to cross the line, who's actually on a valid lap. So we'll follow along with the Renault coming through Blanchimont now and on the run up towards the chicane. The final couple of corners breaking down just past the 100-meter pause. A big lock up from him. Shouldn't hamper him too much. Now getting down into first gear for as much rotation as he can. Opening it up wide onto the exit. What time is Neo going to do? He's going to go 7th fastest ahead of Campbell. Pretty respectable time with a 1 minute 41.5.
Yeah, comparison actually to his teammate, Connor would have been quicker than that. He would have been 100th quicker if he was to set that lap time of 41.4, as you said. He would have went 7th. Neo would have went 8th if that lap time was valid. Toxic, I think, has left the session, if I'm not mistaken. I had a little bit of a glitch where I couldn't get to Neo, and that's why I was trying to fly. I had to go all the way down to 20th and then re-come through the field to try and get him. But look at how tight the mid-pack are, as Matthias is now coming through the middle sector. 32 flat through the first sector suggests to me he is not on a lap here.
Yeah, well, speaking of the gaps, look at the gap between Campbell, Justasas and Larkin. 1,000 in it between Justasas and Larkin, and then only a couple hundreds off of Campbell as well. So they're doing what they do best, and they just keep it as tight as possible every qualifying session they go to. It's quite funny, actually.
Connor coming into the pit lane. He's invalid once again. Could have been a nice lap actually from Connor. Rocco's run out of fuel, by the way. He's coming through Blanchimont. That's why the yellow flags are in operation there. So Rocco has run out of fuel. You can suggest that by the bottom right-hand corner. The red fuel light is on. That suggests to me, of course, he has run out of fuel. And I think, to be honest, he was expecting to try and set another lap. He didn't have enough fuel, though, and he's now coming into the pit lane. And with 11 minutes to go in qualifying, Alphatrix on top, Spine second, Montana in third. M short, though, with a lap time of a 141.1. He's in fourth, and D. Daniel currently in fifth. We watch Matthias coming into the pit lane. I think Verstappen is out on track, and he's about to start a lap.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just on the run up towards turn number 1. Where can the young Dutchman put the car coming down into the source there? Pretty easy to lock up, going to first for all the extra rotation he can. He got 2 cars just in front of him of D. Daniel. D. Daniel's going to try and get out of the way as best as possible. I think it's wise for the Alfa Romeo up ahead of Montana just to wait until the straight and try not to give a slipstream to Verstappen. This looking like a really nice run through the first couple of corners now. Look at this, he's actually going to tuck right behind Montana just to get that little bit of slipstream. Is Verstappen, so very smart move from him. 29.8 through the first sector, that's not bad. Probably will put him around about 4th position if he was just to stay consistent with everyone else, because Montana was only a 10th or so quicker on his first sector. And now coming down through the next couple of corners through the middle sector, pretty easy to lock up through there and also through here, but he's done pretty well to actually keep the brakes nice and rotating, I suppose. And now up towards, of course, the famous corner Puon. Hardly have to brake there, used to have to brake. Now you can just lift off a little bit and you're fine, then go flat out again. And now up towards, I believe you called it Campus, which I think is correct. Running it through 7th there, I wouldn't really expect him to do so, but he has done so. And now up towards, I believe, Stabilo. It's looked like a really nice time from him so far, 13.1. And I'll tell you what, James, this could be a really, really nice time.
Yeah, he's on the pace, to be honest, with the likes of M. Short, D. Daniels sort of area, I think, at this point. So Verstappen now coming through Blanchimont, taking it flat out, 198 mile an hour reach. He might run out of fuel on his down lap, but Verstappen will have to lay it all on the line here if he's to have some sort of go. I think that's Alphatrix just ahead, starting off on a lap, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, it's Killer Blue. Verstappen to the line, goes 5th. 41.2. Nice lap there by Verstappen. He didn't take the middle sector as quick as what we saw with Montana, but he goes 5th nonetheless. And Montana, speaking of which, has just started off on a lap, 41 flat, 2/10 off the back of Alphatrix currently. Can he try and set that lap time? We'll run on board with Doom in the meantime. Doom 13.2 through the middle sector. Still a valid lap currently out on track as we now run on board with the Spaniard as he comes now through Blanchimont. There is a Ferrari just ahead of him, which I think is Suku on an outlap if I'm not mistaken. As now the clouds begin really to build. It looks like it's going to rain, to be honest, as Doom completely overruns it coming through the bus stop chicane. I think Suku just managed to get out of the way in time. Doom now to the line, goes 5th. 41.2. I didn't have him on for 5th position at all. Let Suku back through. Good lap time that by Doom.
Yeah, absolutely, and when you think about it, he went so deep into the bus stop, he must have lost a little bit of time from there, so he really can be on for a brilliant final lap once he gets back into the pit, straps on his fresh set of soft tyres and then goes again. But I do believe that this is a case of track evolution happening. Everyone going to be setting quicker and quicker times as the session goes along. I believe Killer Blue is in the final sector at the moment. He's just coming up to Blanchimont, 13.2 through the second sector, and what have you seen?
Montana is nearly 3/10 up in the middle sector. That is what I've seen. He's behind Killer Blue, I think, by about 5 or 10 seconds out on track. There's a AlphaTauri just out to the right-hand side. I think there's Toxic getting out of the way on an outlap. Now Montana coming up towards the final corner. We'll see how Killer Blue does. He comes across the line. He goes 6th, 41.2. But now Montana got to get a good run through bus stop. Is he going to try and challenge Alphatrix to the line? Yes, goes pole. Montana won 40.7. Alphatrix is on a lap. He's coming through the end of the middle sector. He's 800th up. So Alphatrix is beginning to respond. We're not even towards the end of qualifying, and now we've got a personalised battle, I think, between the top three. Montana, Alphatrix, Spine also improved on this lap at 140.9, but it's now all with Alphatrix. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. That is Verstappen getting out of the way to the right-hand side. Alphatrix now through the bus stop chicane as just ASAS has gone third. The reserve doing a good job currently in qualifying. Will Alphatrix respond to Montana? No! Yes, he does! By 3,000ths of a second. I thought he was slower briefly for a second there, but 140.7 and 3,000ths of a second separate the two championship contenders.
They're doing it yet again. Unbelievable how close these two are. It looked like M. Short was on for a really big improvement, but he suddenly just didn't get any acceleration off the final corner. He just revved it out in second. Suku, meanwhile, goes into 5th place, and they're all beginning to improve massively on their times. So this is the effect of traffic evolution as it gets more rubbered in. And we've got a couple more guys coming up towards the line, Neo being one of them, slowest of them all at the moment in 16th out the drivers that have set a lap. So he's going to want to improve on that, just coming through the bus stop chicane. I didn't quite see his improvement through the first and second sector, but 4/10 improvement. This could see him way up the order then. Ooh. Into 5th place goes Neo. Nice time from him there, and as you said, he could be starting to regain some of his form he had from pre-season, because he's really strong in recent weeks.
Yeah, Neo really beginning to gain that momentum back, I think. 41 flat puts him right in the mix with the likes of just ASAS and Spine, possibly for third here in qualifying. Doom and Killer Blue, by the way, have set the same lap time. Just thought I'd mention that in 8th and 9th position. This is how close qualifying is. 7/10 of a second separate the whole field currently. Toxic on a lap. Rocco also on a lap. We'll go right on board with Rocco, who I think might come into the pit lane actually. He doesn't look like he's on a valid lap time, and in fact he's going to be well down coming through the middle sector here. He's just trying to get a valid lap in if I'm not mistaken, or he'll just come into the pit lane, and yeah, he should be. 116.5 is definitely nowhere near some of the times that these guys have setting. So what we'll do is ride on board with Toxic, who was on a lap as well. He's in 17th position. He's still yet to set a time, but Toxic, when he puts on a good lap, he can really do the damage. But as I said that, he's just invalidated.
Yeah, with the commentator's curse coming out in full force. We'll see what he was for the middle sector. 13.1. That would have been a pretty respectable middle sector. Definitely been in the top 10. But unfortunately, all that good work has been unravelled for him. So he's going to probably come into the pit soon and strap on a new set of softs. We're getting to the point where drivers will start their final run, and I believe Matthias is on his outlap for his final run. I don't know if we have anyone actually on a push lap at the moment, so Matthias might be one of our only sources of a lap at the moment, but he is still only in the second sector, so we're probably not going to see a lap for a good 2 minutes or so, maybe.
Yeah, I think, honestly, there's a couple of guys actually beginning to come out the pit lane. Daniel, and I think Verstappen is also coming out the pit lane now as well. So them are the two that have gambled a little bit earlier for the track evolution, but Matthias on an outlap is going to try and gamble a little bit later than some of these guys. He might be ahead of them out on track, but he could get 2 laps in, and that could make the difference between him qualifying well down the field in 20th position and not getting a lap in whatsoever, or getting a lap in and he goes to, what, 11th, 12th position, I'm thinking. Campbell and Larkin as well. Just having a look down the middle sector. Down through the midfield, in fact. June down to Cowan. In fact, June down to Kooky Games is separated by just under 0.2 of a second, from 8th down to 16th. Out on track, and 0.5 separating 3rd down to 16th as well. We'll run on board with Matthias. Hopefully, we're not going to butcher his lap like we did last week in Hungary.
Yeah, that was not a nice thing to see. I believe he went off in the 3rd sector or something. I don't remember the corner numbers, but hopefully that doesn't happen around here. Coming through the first couple of corners, short shifting to get the power down early. That was quite a nice run through La Source there, and now up to the famous. Oh, he's backed us.
He's backed up already. I think, honestly, he might have misjudged coming through the final corner. I saw him go into 3rd gear. I didn't think he generally meant that, and to be honest, I think with Matthias, I hope he's not watching the stream, by the way, and he's just done this for the sake of it, but Matthias on a lap, coming through the first sector, yeah, it's well done. 31.8 coming through the first sector. He might just want to set a lap time, a valid lap time, and then get on the board and then go for his big run, which will be towards the end of the session. Just trying to see on board anybody that's on a lap as well. Daniel has just started a lap, as well as Verstappen. So they're the two, I think, that are going to be next across the line. Daniel now coming through a Rouge and Radion. 193 mile an hour carried through there. Opens up the DRS. There's a car just ahead of him out on track. He won't get any slipstream unless he does come back, of course, the driver in front. Daniel now through the first sector. 29.8. He's a 10th up. He's not purple in the first sector, but it's an improvement nonetheless. Now through Lecombe and on the run down towards Brussels as well, which will be turn 9 out on track. And Daniel really committing on this lap. He's got Campbell ahead out on track as well, the Scotsman. And for his purpose and his purpose only, I've got Iron Brew as my choice of drink here tonight. Daniel running down now, coming in towards Pouon through turn 11. Double gauche, this is actually called on the real life track map, but it's called Pouon, of course, on the F1 track map. Daniel now coming in towards Campus through turn 12. And then through the left-hander at 13. Looking like a very nice lap this. And Daniel has had a really good qualifying run so far. I think he finished 3rd last time out in Hungary, if I'm not mistaken. And he's 3/10 up. So he's really beginning to respond to the likes of just ASAS, maybe even to the likes of Alpha Trix and Montana. Trying to put his hat into the ring. Not sure if Verstappen is still on the lap either. He's coming through the middle sector. He might have backed up. But Daniel now coming through Blanchimont. 198 mile an hour carried. Now coming up towards bus stop. This is looking like a really good lap from Daniel. If he can nail the final 2 corners, jump down into 3rd, and he ups it to 3rd in fact. And now Daniel comes to the line, and he goes 5th. 40.9. He gets into the 140s in and around just ASR spine sort of area. Very nice lap indeed. Verstappen, by the way, is on a lap. He's invalid. So Verstappen is invalid. I'm not sure who's going to be next across the line.
I'm trying to cipher through the order just to see. I believe Cookie Games is quite far up on a run, but I could be wrong on whoever is the highest up.
Yeah, he's on an outlap. Connor's on a lap.
He is. Connor is on a lap.
Middle sector.
We've got
Campbell. Yeah.
Campbell's just started.
Oh, he's just started. So
Drop is in the 3rd sector.
Yeah, drop in the 3rd sector. Sorry for trying to cut through the cameras. We got there in the end. Droppier now coming through. He's 600s up, coming through the middle sector, and now up towards bus stop. Just ASOS across the line will not be sending another lap time at all. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. I think that might be just ASOS retiring out on track. As Droppier now comes around the final corner, oh, he gets loose coming through the bus stop chicane. That might nullify any improvement, and it does nullify any improvement. He did not improve on that lap time. We've got Matthias 8 seconds up on his lap time. Now coming through the final couple of corners as Kooky Games retires from the session out on track as well. There's a Ferrari round as well, which I think might be Suku if I'm not mistaken. Matthias goes 11th. Nice lap time from him. Cohen in behind goes 9th. Very nice lap from Cohen as well. But let's have a look. Spine coming up into the middle sector. Montana across the line. Responds! 50.5. Connor goes third. Spine and Alpha Trix has spun. Spine across the line. Goes second. It's an Alfa Romeo front row of the grid. Alpha Trix has spun coming through Puon. And Montana and Spine are now top 2. Surely, they're separated by 200ths of a second. But anybody else that's on a lap. Rocco on a lap. See if he's improving. He hasn't had a time just yet. Now coming around the final couple of corners, we see, I think that was M Short going 5th. Nice lap time by M Short. Rocco doesn't manage it, goes 16th. Toxic is invalid. And I think, is that everyone out on track? Campbell's going to improve around the final corner. Across the line, he comes. He goes 11th. Neo, a 10th up, comes across the line. Doesn't improve in the end. 40.9. He improved on his lap time, not on his position. June's the only one. He's down on his lap time. That is the end of qualifying. And Montana and Spine, Alfa Romeo, fill out the front 2 positions in qualifying with Alpha Trix in 3rd. And what about Connor? Debutant performance in 4th.
Well, the 2 drivers who got moved up from F2, Division 2, 2 of the 3 drivers currently taking 4th and 5th. They are really making a statement in Division 1, but really the stars of the show are in fact the 2 Alfa Romeo drivers locking out the front row of the grid. Montana on pole, and this could be what he needs to reclaim the championship lead if he can. Remember the gap at the top, but he really has thrown his name into the goblet of fire.
Yeah, and look at how they've improved as well. Montana and Spine out on top, 200ths of a second separating the guys out on track. But Alpha Trix is more than a 10.5 down on Montana. Really unexpected. He was improving through the first sector. Alpha Trix went 3rd, Connor 4th, M Short 5th. Just ASAS reserve in 6th, with D Daniel in 7th, Suku in 8th, Neo in 9th. Top 9 all get 140.9s and under. Larkin in 10th, with Campbell in 11th, Killer Blue 12th, Cohen 13th, June 14th, Matthias good qualifying, Rocco in 16th, Verstappen 17th, Droppier in 18th, Kooky Games in 19th, Toxic the only one not to set a lap time. The whole field covered by 8.5 tenths.
They do it every single week. I think I say this every single week, but one day, I think the world will end when League of Europe Division 1's grid isn't separated by a second.
Honestly, I think we are in for an absolute treat, and I think it just comes to show and give credit as well to the organisers, especially to Gary. He's the Division 1 organiser here within League of Europe. This has been his dream and League of Europe's dream, to separate and really put the best drivers amongst each other. And here in Division 1, every single driver always delivers. And I think we cannot say that enough, and we cannot stress that enough as a commentary team. It is fantastic to see from our point of view, because it keeps us on our toes, but it also keeps you guys on your toes as well when viewing the action and when viewing our camera work as well. Gary's saying he will win the Division 2 race. Of course, that will be at 8 o'clock. Verstappen and I think it's J. Cole in the box here tonight for Division 2. Matthias calling him a bottle in the comments section as well. And also from the M Short fan club, Short's been having steering wheel connection issues, so we're not sure if that might affect his performance here tonight. It certainly hasn't affected his qualifying. There's the predicted pit stop strategy: 1 stop, softs to mediums, lap 8 to 9. But I've got to be honest, I normally commentate around here and it's before that. It's around lap 5, lap 6 sometimes.
Well, we'll just have to see how they are with the tyres. Looking like a little bit of cloud up ahead, so we might see some rain later on in the Grand Prix. That could be a deciding factor on when they actually decide to come into the pits, whether it's around about lap number 10 and they want to stay out a little bit longer. But I'd expect them to go maybe a little bit later than lap number 5, probably lap 6, 7 and 8 is going to be when they all pit on for the medium tyres and then run to the end on that set. I did a commentary around here this week on Tuesday. Can't remember the exact pit stop strategy, but a lot of them did come in around about lap number 7. Of course, it actually follows the League of Europe calendar, which is really, really good because I can practice sort of for this league. So I've got Italy next week on Tuesday, and I've got Italy on Saturday as well in League of Europe, of course.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think it gives you a good sense as well of what the pit stop strategies are. And looking at the top 10, obviously they've qualified all on a set of soft compound tyres. Everyone in behind, though, you are such a boring bunch. Medium compound of tyres for everyone. Needless to say, the one-stop strategy will work. And these mediums, when do you expect them to fall off? Because I'm thinking around lap 12, 13, from around then.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you there. Maybe lap 14 is when some of the really good drivers that saving the tyres will come into the pits and then fit on the softs, of course. The alternate strategy has known to be a bit overpowered on this game, but around Belgium it's not too strong because the hards aren't really viable at all. Unless you pit early on in the race, you still won't have that much pace at all. So, yeah, it is not that powerful around Belgium from what I remember. But it's still a little bit more powerful, the mediums to soft, than the soft to medium strategy.
Well, this is it. Everyone now beginning to line up on the grid. It wouldn't be a Saturday night without asking you, who's going to be your top 3?
You know what? I'm just going to go with qualifying. So Montana, Spine, and Alpha Trix.
You are a boring co-commentator. Honestly, spice it up, man. Spice it up. I'm going to go top 3. I'm going to go Alpha Trix for the win, Montana second, and M Short for third. There, you've heard the correct prediction first. I said that last week, and then it went completely and utterly wrong. We see the beautiful view, though, down in towards La Source. Now, the red lights will come on. The 5 red lights are on here in Belgium for round 11 of the championship. And it's lights out and away we go. Montana gets a very good start. So does Alpha Trix. We already see a graphic switch to left-hand side. Alpha Trix, in fact, is trying to come in between both of the Alpha males through La Source. And it looks like the top 2 have remained as they are. Alpha Trix is actually through on Spine, I think. Running down the hill, he could get Montana as well. This is the Rouge and Radion now up next. And Montana and Alpha Trix are nearly side by side. We really race through here. And Alpha Trix has got a tremendous start. He's trying to replicate what it was from Verstappen back in the eras. And now Alpha Trix now trying to come around the outside. Montana on the inside line. Oh, they came in a little bit of contact there between them both. Everyone off to a clear start, which is good to see. Now we see the graphics glitch come and fix itself, and Montana leads. Alpha Trix in second, Spine in third, Connor fourth, M Short in fifth. The top 5, I think, have remained as they are, apart from Spine and Alpha Trix swapping positions. Larkin and Neo are having a good battle as well. Campbell trying to get in on the act as well, coming through Bruxelles and now into X corner, which is coming through turn 10, and then on towards Pouon at turn 11. But what a tremendous start from everyone. I don't think anybody has picked up any front wing damage, which is even more remarkable, I think, out on track. But we filter back to the leaders, and Montana leads by 0.5 of a second. But how important is that for Alpha Trix to get through on Spine?
Yeah, that was a really crucial move. There was a little bit of contact between them, but they managed to all keep it relatively clean. And of course, Alpha Trix could have had a go into Lake Com, but Montana just said, nope, you're not coming in, and he shut the door completely. Alpha Trix probably won't be too happy about that, and I think Cookie Games, does he have an incident somewhere?
Cohen's
around.
Off. Cohen is off, coming through Stavolo, and it looked like they had both briefly had an incident. A VSE has been deployed. With Cohen's front wing damage, the VSE has now been deployed, and Montana will have to back up, and it's now 40% race distance, 40% I should say, these guys operate on the throttle. So, end of lap 1, VSE already deployed in Belgium as a result of a Cookie Games and Cohen incident. Montana leads from Alpha Trix in second. M Short has not dropped down. It is the graphics glitch once again. I thought he dropped down behind just ASAS there, but he hasn't. He remains in 5th position. Don't let your eyes deceive you. Everyone is still in pretty much the same positions as they are as we run through a Rouge and Radion. I have a feeling we're going to get back underway with this VSE ending very shortly indeed. Cohen into the pit lane. It might come at the VSE might end when he comes out the pit lane, but we'll have to wait and see. Montana leads, Alpha Trix in second. As soon as I say that, with DRS not enabled, this is lap 2, Montana does lead Alpha Trix second, Spine in third, and look at M Short, he's right on the back of Connor.
Yeah, now coming up towards the next couple of turns. I'm trying to find him. Oh, there it is. Yeah, he's right up to the back of the newly crowned Division 1 driver. Of course, he was doing really well in Division 2. Now moving up into the top flight. And his former Division 2. I'm going to have to get you to Division 2. His former rival, is gonna be saying, "Hey, you think you can just come into Division 1 like I did and steal the show? No, that's my job." So those two are gonna have a great scrap, I believe, in the next coming laps. And maybe just Asas, who has done a really good job. Considering he is a reserve, so he's not really made a connection with any teammates, so to say, this season. He's done a really good job now, running in 6th position. He could get in on the act as well. Seems like they're all beginning to space out just a little bit, and I hope they don't get into a big DRS train once that becomes available. But Alpha Trix now, coming onto lap number 3, with DRS going to be enabled, he could be right onto the back of Montana by the end of the Kemmel Straight.
He could be indeed. Suku as well, right on the back of just Asas. He was looking quicker, actually, than the guys ahead of him, as Kuki Games and Rocco have a bit of a fight coming through bus stop chicane. I think Kuki Games has got that position now nailed, and he's up into 17th position. Saw that on the mini-map as opposed to the action out on track. But Montana leads, running down the hill. 7/10 of a second is pretty much the gap between these two. Spine there in 3rd, and there is the distance, 8.5 tenths. From Alphatrix, you see the rear wing now open. He will now come at Montana. Montana to the inside line. Look at the Alphatrix speed. He's not going to be closing up enough, though, and I don't think really anybody is going to be close enough down in towards Lacombe. We'll filter through the field and see if anybody is close enough, but no, everyone's been a bit boring, I think, and not going for any sort of moves. To be honest, they weren't even close enough. Rocco was still on the back of Kuka Games, but that's about it, to be honest. Montana leads 5/10 of a second from Alphatrix in 2nd, Spine in 3rd, Connor in 4th, and Short in 5th. But looking further down the field, Verstappen beginning to pressurise Matthias a bit.
Yeah, Verstappen, he is right on the back of the McLaren man, of course. Both Dutchies, so they've probably got that connection together. And now coming out of the exit of P1, he is now just 1.5 tenths behind the McLaren driver for 14th position. So as he gets onto the curb a little bit, that could have given him a bit of oversteer. Seems to have recovered it well, and Cookie Games getting a penalty. And now I think he Toxic going around at turn number 9, is that?
Yep, at Bruxelles, just after Bruxelles, through X corner, Toxic is round. I think he's got right, he hasn't got any damage at all. I think he's just dropped it on the curb, possibly. So Toxic, unfortunately, on a set of hard compound of tyres, he's going to go 2-stop committing on that strategy, it seems, as now Verstappen tries to line up Matthias, but back to the battle for 14th. Droppier just in behind as well, returning as Connor now sets the new fastest lap of the race. But Alphatrix is beginning to put Montana under a little bit more pressure. 4 tenths is the gap up in front. Will run down through a Rouge and Radion, and look at Alphatrix's speed already. He looks quicker than Montana physically coming through a Rouge and Radion, and this honestly is going to be the easiest overtake you may see for the lead of the race anytime, any place, anywhere. Alphatrix is through into the lead of the race. I don't think Montana is going to have a comeback here at all. And he doesn't, and Alphatrix is through. The easiest move you may see all night, as Verstappen is on the back of Matthias, trying to fight to the outside line, coming through Lecombe. They've got Droppier as well in behind, but they stay as they are. But Alphatrix into the lead, how important is that?
Absolutely crucial for his fight in the championship against Montana to get by as soon as possible, and maybe coming into the pit stop phase, which won't be too long, then he can have the jump on Montana and maybe hold him up just a little bit in the pit lane as well, and get a real advantage over his championship rival, and clearing both of the Alfa Romeo drivers early on in the race, trying not to get held up by Spine. I think the move on Spine was a lot more crucial than the move on Montana, just because well, Spine would have held him up probably intentionally and let Montana get away, but he did that instantly. He got by, and then of course he was able to attack Montana, and now has taken the lead of the Grand Prix. But they're all seemingly stretching out a little bit, and tell you what, even though it is a pretty entertaining race so far, it's not living up to the race of the season by what you've said.
Second half of the race will always improve. Trust me on this one. M Short on the back of Connor, really begin to pressurise, and it looks like the Spine just made a slight mistake there. Slight mistake there as well. Alphatrix now sets a new fastest lap of the race. He's still in the lead by 5/10 of a second as they now run down towards the Kemmel Straight once again, and then obviously through a Rouge and Radion and then down the Kemmel Straight. But M Short's looking close here. On the back of Connor. Connor really conserving up his ERS. 89% of ERS pretty much running down the hill. And now M Short is going to try and pull out the slipstream. But to be honest, I think Connor could have a run as well on Spine running up the straight, passing Dutch Corner to the left-hand side. But Alphatrix remain as they are. Doom, however, and Killer Blue swap positions. And Doom is now through and he's up into 12th. So the Spaniard is through on the Brit. And the Brit really from a good qualifying position, actually, in 12th position. He's dropped down only at one position off the start, but Doom is now through, and he's up into 12th position.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a nice move from Doom there, and it's just going to be about recollecting himself. Doom has lost the DRS up ahead to Campbell, who's doing a really good job keeping with all the soft runners ahead. So maybe Killer Blue could use this to his advantage and attack him when the DRS comes back to him. Of course, it's going to go the opposite way in the favour of the Williams driver. I'm just waiting for when M. Short is going to make his move, but then again, Connor is right on the back of Spine as well. The gap was actually equal between all three of the drivers, about 5.5 tenths, and now it is, of course, beginning to fluctuate. That is just the nature of F1. There is never a stagnant gap, but it is just going to be about who's going to crack first, who will make the first mistake, and who's going to be the one to benefit the most out of it. Coming to the bus stop chicane now to begin lap number 6. We'll see who can take advantage of the DRS and how close will Montana get to Alpha Tricks.
Gotta be honest, I think Connor is running all over these guys at this moment, especially Spine in third. He's running all over. June sets the new fastest lap of the race, 1:45.1. But Connor, conserving ERS, 90% of ERS. If I was him, I would go for that gap, because now look, he's outside of a second, Spine, and Connor has now got to commit. He's got to use this overtake up mode up now, but I don't think even with that he's going to be close enough to have a go. Spine is just within DRS range. DRS detection just came in time for him, but he's not going to be close enough at all for Connor to get the move done. But Montana's beginning to pressurise Alpha Tricks once again. And these two, I have a feeling, are working together somewhat to try and maintain their lead of the race. Because Spine is 9/10 behind. Montana, I think, is working, with Alpha Tricks more than he is with his own teammate.
Yeah, well, he's kind of beginning to drop Spine a little bit. Connor has fallen back just a little bit into the grasp of M. Short, but that will probably change throughout the laps, just through all their setups being tuned to their driving style. It could be better in some parts of the circuit. It is actually getting quite close for about 6th position between Suku, Daniel, and of course them chasing just ASAS. The two Ferraris on the Red Bull, and June getting a 3-second time penalty. And just ASAS lost, and that was a huge accident.
Safety car's been deployed.
He almost flipped.
He flipped. I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I think I was on board with Daniel at the time, so I didn't catch that fully. But it looked to me as if he clouted the wall to the right-hand side. Not sure, as you say, if he flipped over. So unfortunate if he has, and just ASAS is out of the race, and a safety car has been deployed. And now this brings to mind everyone now pretty much coming into the pit lane. We've got a whole different race entirely, I think, now, because some of these guys on the set of mediums, I think, could commit, go to a set of hard compounder tyres, and we could see a race pretty much all on hard compounder tyres to the end of the race. Alpha Tricks now into his pit box, puts on a set of medium compounder tyres. Mediums will probably last. Some of them, however, going on to a set of hards. I think that is his teammate, Killer Blue, that is going on to a set of hard compounder tyres, trying to make a one-stop strategy last. But the only two not to come into the pit lane, apart from Cohen and Toxic, who are not even towards the pit straight just yet, and Toxic, in fact, closing right up on the back of Cohen. These two now will dispose of their hards and come into the pit lane as well. Jum and Matthias now lead the race because they're staying out.
Yeah, of course, they will have to make their pit stops, but crucially, Spine pitted right behind Montana. That held him up. Now he's running behind Campbell in 10th position, and Daniel also held up by his own teammate. So he's dropped down 7 positions now into 14th, and his teammate is in 7th. So those two probably not wise to pit onto that pit at that moment. But then if you think about it, they're all going to bunch up under safety car this lap, so they'd actually be even lower if they didn't come into the pits late. So think about it now. It wasn't. They didn't really have many good opportunities to pit there, unfortunately, and yeah, it's just unfortunate for them that they had to come in behind their teammate. I don't think anyone else got affected by that, but yeah, now Doom leading the race. Maybe Montana could use this to advantage. He's got Alpha Tricks ahead of him, then 2 slower medium runners, and he could maybe try and wait for Alpha Tricks to get a bit greedy, being held up by the 2 drivers ahead, and then maybe force him into a mistake and then pounce when Alpha Tricks is kind of caught napping. So that could be the plan for Montana, or he could just go all guns blazing and attack from the restart.
I've got to be honest, Montana should go all guns blazing because I think Alphatrix and Montana would want to work together to get past Doom and to get past Matthias. That is important, I think, for their chances, because if Doom and Matthias stay in front and hold them up, it could bring Connor, M Short, Suku and the likes into play for a potential win. A very unlikely win, but a potential win nonetheless. Just having a look through the other streams as well, Division 3 and Division 4 are also live, and Division 3 are full wet currently at this stage. They just came off the safety car. Total Peds leads the way, Peter in second and Cecil in third in Division 3. Division 4 has a dry race like us. Heated leads the way, Philippe in second, NSX Mads currently in third. You can watch that, or you can just stay with us here in Division 1. It is up to you. Alpha, get the win. Alpha, keep the lead. The latest comments in the comments section. And well, there he is. He's in the net lead of the race, but Doom currently leads the race. And Rocco, interestingly, is into the pit lane. I think he put on the wrong set of tyres.
I think he was on the mediums. He was on the mediums, and so he decided to just do one lap.
And now onto a set of mediums.
Yeah, and he would get the two choices of tyres, two compounds that you have to use, and now he's onto a set of mediums. He can definitely go to the end on those. And he was way down in the order anyway, so he's not really losing too much by doing this. And in the long run, it will help him out because he'll be able to catch guys like Drop J, and Cookie Games, and Killer Blue, and all those guys that are pitted onto the hard tyres. He'll be able to catch them pretty quickly. But now that the pack is caught up and this is our second lap under safety car, I believe that by the end of this lap we will be green flag racing on lap number 9.
Yeah, Rocco's just going to latch onto the back coming on the exit of Lacombe, so we will get back underway this lap. It'll be lap 9 out of 22 as we come around. Doom leads, Matthias second, and Alphatrix currently in third. But looking further down the field, who is in the best position further down the field to make their way up? I think surely it's got to be Spine. He's in 10th position. He's got the likes of Neil, Suku and the likes ahead of him. I think Spine is in a really eye-catching position, I think. If there was to be another safety car, I think, for example, he's in a really good position to try and make the best out of what was a hold-up within the pit lane.
Yeah, I actually agree. Absolutely agree with you there. But for now, if a safety car doesn't come out, he's just got to make do with what he's got, and he's just got to get his head down, catch up to the field that he is quicker than, and he proved that in qualifying by going pretty much almost on the same time as his Alfa Romeo teammate, of course, being one of the championship contenders, Montana. And now the safety car is coming in this lap. Might have to take a drink because my voice is getting a bit croaky.
My voice is exactly the same, so don't worry about this. Both comms could lose their voices before the end of this race. Trust me on this one. But Doom and Matthias will lead, and Doom is setting a really good pace, I think, under the safety car here. Safety car obviously does have to come into the pit lane, then there will be green flag racing. I think he will go on the exit of the bus stop chicane rather than on the entrance into the bus stop, because you are only slowing. But this is a really quick restart, I think, for Doom, and now he says go, in fact, so he's completely blown what I've just said out the window, and now Doom gets us back underway with Matthias following. Alphatrix has been caught napping slightly, and he's got Montana all over the back of him once again. We start once again underway onto lap 9, and Doom leads. Matthias second, Alphatrix in third. Everyone pretty much remaining as they are. Larkin trying to make up a position here on Verstappen down in towards La Source, but he's not close enough to get the move done. Would have been quite silly. The DRS will not be enabled, by the way, for the next few laps. So lap 11 out of 22, halfway stage, will be when these guys do get the DRS out on track. Until then, it is old-fashioned Formula 1 racing, as Larkin is right on the back now of Verstappen, and he in turn is right on the back of Killer Blue. This is halfway down the field in 11th, 12th and 13th, and now I think Larkin is not going to go for the move. He's going to go for half commitment down the inside. Not quite close enough, but he's really putting pressure on Verstappen. Tries to go around the outside through the exit of Lacombe. Doesn't quite pull it off, but Larkin really looking racy.
Yeah, absolutely. And meanwhile, further back behind in 17th, Toxic making opposition. Now Rocco trying to go up the inside.
Oh, round the outside! What a move! Rocco round the outside, coming through Brussels. He was on the inside line, on the outside, it coming into X. Brilliant move to pull off that. Cohen on 3-lap old mediums has just been made to look an absolute ordinary driver. Rocco was through, and he's up into 18th position. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, now as we move further up on the laps. Alphatrix is right on the back of Matthias now, coming up towards Blanchimont. Look at the run, the speed that he's got on the McLaren driver. Here he is now, trying to maybe have a look to the outside. I think maybe into the bus stop chicane is going to make his move, as now he's going to open up the ERS, and now coming side by side into the bus stop chicane. Heavy braking now for the next two corners.
Beautiful.
He's got the move done. And what about Montana? He's just going to have to stick behind. So now Alphatrix, this is crucial for him. He's got to build a gap to Matthias whilst Montana is behind, and then hope that Montana struggles to get past.
Yeah, Montana is going to be in a really difficult scenario now. Alphatrix made that one look pretty easy around the outside of the bus stop, and he's through and he's up into second, but has broken actually the DRS. He won't get DRS. I think he might actually, just saying that, as the timings just fixed themselves. Alphatrix might not be within DRS range this lap around, and in fact he won't be, as Matthias is going to try and come back at him now down the straight, down the Kemmel straight in front of the Dutch fans. Can he try and get a move done down the inside into Lecombe? No, he won't, but Spine making up a position past Campbell, using all that overtake mode up to good effect, and he is now through. The Alfa Romeo man is through and he's up into 9th position, so he's disposed of one. He now needs to catch and latch on to the back of the likes of Neo and Suku to stand any sort of chance of getting a top 5 finish or maybe even getting a podium. But Montana, how frustrating is this for him with Matthias in front? This is honestly what I used to commentate on back in TFRL. These guys had a right good ding-dong back in the day in a league that I used to run, and it seems like that all over again, I think.
Yeah, now Montana, of course, he can't find a way past through the middle sector on Matthias. He might have to make a similar sort of move that Alphatrix made coming off the exit of Stabilo. He's using up some of his overtake here, so he's definitely going to try and look for the move.
Way.
I think even before Blanchimont, he's going to go up the inside. Oh my goodness me, side by side, and Montana made that look textbook, as now
Brilliant.
He gets the move even before the bus stop chicane. And what about Matthias? He's going to have a look? No, he's just going to stay behind and try not to wreck his tyres. Maybe run a couple more laps on this set, and then come into the pit and be fresh on the softs.
Yeah, Alphatrix setting the new fastest lap of the race. He's right on the back of Doom coming into the source. He'll probably get him done down the Kemmel straight. DRS is now re-enabled on lap 11 out of 22. And when we get to P1, we're pretty much halfway through. It is Doom who leads. He has still yet to pit, with Alphatrix in second, Montana third. Them two have pitted, and now Alphatrix lining up a move now on Doom. And this might be the easiest overtake you might see all night. Montana is trying to follow suit. He's got a really good run, actually, Montana. Is he going to try and slingshot down the inside into Lecombe? Oh, I thought he was going to think about getting two of them, but he gets one. He's passed on Doom. Brilliant slingshot move there by Montana to get past on Doom. He tried it as he might on Alphatrix. Wasn't quite close enough to get the slingshot on both of them, but he's through and he's up to second, and now puts Connor right under the cosh now, because he is now in that little bit of traffic with Doom and Matthias ahead.
Wow, what a opportunistic move from Montana. He just thought, you know what? I've got nothing to lose at this point. I want the win or nothing. So he managed to make his way up into second position. He could have got Alphatrix there, but he just didn't have the speed he could have maybe had if he was a tenth closer. But it is unfortunate. And meanwhile, further back behind for about fourth position, it seems like Connor has been caught up by M Short by quite a lot, and that's probably him being stuck behind Matthias at the moment. And Doom as well. So can Connor make a move on Matthias? And I think Matthias has just thought, you know what, it's Blanchimont again, I'm going to get overtaken and it's guaranteed. But what about M Short? Oh my goodness me, don't try and send it around the outside. He could go into the
he's going to be boxed in. Is he going to try and think about it down the inside line? I tell you what, M Short, if he pulls off this move, and he has, brilliant stuff by M Short. Absolute textbook coming into bus stop. Gets the move done, and now Suku is now lined up a move down into La Source. You don't really see a move into La Source, and Suku has just bullied Matthias, I think, out the way there. Matthias is dropping like a stone through the field. Larkin is through in the background on Killer Blue. He's up into 12th position, and they are things side by side running down the straight nearly. Killer Blue is almost shoving Larkin into the race. Got this movement as close, and D. Daniel right on the back of this. We could have three wide running down the straight between these guys, as now D. Daniel comes out of the slipstream. He's going to get both of them. This is brilliant stuff from D. Daniel. He's got the move done surely around the outside into Lecombe. He gives space to Larkin. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant stuff. D. Daniel through, gets both of them, and he's through and he's up into 12th. Absolutely brilliant. Kooky Games is out of the race at Lecombe, and a safety car has been deployed.
Well, that gives a free pit stop essentially to Jim and Matthias, whose pit window was coming up soon. And I think some of these guys might try and opt for the soft tyres to run to the end. I definitely think they can do it. I'm not sure what happened to Cookie Games, and all I know is that both Red Bulls are out of this race, so they are not going to get any points and probably lose places in the. Oh, sorry, they already lost in the constructors, but lose crucial points that they could have had this race because just ASAS was running in a decent position. It's so unfortunate, unless actually I'm not too sure if reserves score constructors point. If you'd like to let me know on that one.
They might, I think. I think they do, because they count, obviously, if they fill in for the driver that they're replacing, but they don't give that driver any extra points. They drive for themselves, and I think the points that get counted are towards whatever constructor they drive in. I'm pretty sure it's in the rules like that. But what does this do now? This is unbelievable. Lap 13 out of 22, Joom into the pit lane. He has to commit, I think, to a set of softs. Same with Matthias.
Yeah, no, there's no way that they would even think about putting on the hard tyres. And some of the guys outside the top 10 are also going to go into the pit lane because they're not in the outside the top 12. They're not in the points at all. So why not fit on a new set of tyres and try and push later on in the Grand Prix, because now Joom is going to be quicker than almost anyone in this race, and he'll be right on the back of all the medium runners, and he's still in 12th, so it's still a points paying position for him.
This is now a tale of two halves, to be honest. It's a race of two halves, to be honest, because these guys on a set of mediums have got to now try and commit to the end. Alphatrix Montana and the likes, et al., down to 11th, have got to try and commit. Killer Blue, interestingly, the only one not on a set of soft compounded tyres. He doesn't have faith in those soft compounded tyres getting to the end. Is that a wise strategy from him, or is that a little bit of a left field play from him? Because I think the softs would get to the end with careful tyre management, and Killer Blue obviously doesn't feel he can get those tyres to the end.
I would have definitely gone onto the softs. You're going to spend 2 laps on a safety car. We're going to be going probably at lap number 15, so I wouldn't see any reason why he wouldn't want to put on the soft compound of tyres, because they can definitely make it to the end here. But of course, just under safety car at the moment, you're not going to be putting anywhere onto the tyres. All you're really going to be doing is trying to heat them up just to get them at the operating window. So yeah, it is a bit of a left field choice from Killer Blue, as you put it. I definitely think that the soft will go to the end, and it will just leave him vulnerable to Drop J and Cohen behind.
Do you know what? I think we might get the safety car coming in this lap. Everyone is now latched onto the back. We normally see at this point the safety car go out, so we might have another lap under the safety car, I think. Unless fate tempts me and we get one of those glitches where it comes out on the start-finish line and everyone begins to race, but the safety car is still out on track, because that's something I commentated on in TTL back in the day around here, where one driver exploited the disqualification bug under the safety car and disqualified half the field along with him. We hope we're not going to get that here tonight. But lap 14 out of 22 about to begin. Kooky Games' one word that he's mentioned, by the way, in that comment section is trash. So I'm just guessing he might have got caught on the curb coming through the car when he's out the race.
Yeah, well, if that is the case, really unfortunate from him. Rocco's coming into the pit lane. He was running in 11th position. Now he's going to come into the pits to go for the soft tyres. I guess he would have been overtaken by everyone else, but realistically, going on to the softs here is just going to put him at the back of the train, make it really difficult for him to make any overtakes in the Grand Prix. But I guess it could be worth the gamble, but I'm not too sure for in his sake.
I think in his position, obviously with the soft runners, he could have potentially just thrown away point scoring finish, I think, because those mediums will be up to temperature. If he was to stay on those tyres, they would have been up to temperature, and now he's got to start essentially from scratch on a set of soft compounded tyres right from the back of the field, and do the dirty work right from the back of the field and make up all of the positions that he's just lost, which I think, with drivers around him on slightly warmer tyres, is quite an impossible thing to do. But Rocco likes to defy me in commentary, honestly. I've been defied so many times by him. It's going to be a case of if he can make up the gap, and if he can, is he good enough to make his way through the field? We are halfway through lap 14. Alphatrix does lead the way, Montana second, Connor in third position. And you know what? James's prediction is not too far off.
Well, mine is quite far off, and I was actually going to say, before we actually got the race started, that Toxic was going to win the race just for fun. But doesn't seem like that is going to work out.
He's in P10.
He's in P10. You know what? He's had a really good race, actually. He's come up through the field, and he had a spin earlier on. Granted, he didn't pit for the softs, so he was given the position when everyone else came into the pits, but we'll move past that because, you know, he might hold on to the positions, and Doom has just got a 5-second time penalty.
Safety car lights are out. Yeah, he's collided with...
got damage.
Doom's got damage. Let's have a look. Yes, right-hand side end plate. So I wonder if there's been a slowing up in front. Larkin or D. Daniel might have slowed up in front of him. And Doom has just been completely outsighted. But now, safety car comes into the pit lane and Alphatrix leads a more sedate safety car restart, if I've got to be honest. He's got to try and maintain that speed up. Doesn't want to slow up enough because he has already received a penalty in Austria, remember, from that safety car slowing up under the safety car. Now it's a different time and now he goes. Alphatrix has gone and Doom gets another 5-second penalty for severe collision. Rocco as well with Cohen. All sorts of carnage which will be investigated, of course, after the race. But 8 laps to go. Alphatrix leads Montana second, Connor in third. We see Doom come into the pit lane. A disastrous start for Doom. After that is now Suku launches it on him short down the inside, trying to get the move done. Oh, that was close from the pole, trying to get the move done. But Neil now is going to try and have a comeback. Larkin on the back as well of D. Daniel. We're back underway here in Belgium with 8 laps to go. We're right on board then with M short as Rocco was retired in the pit lane as well. Both Hasses now are out of the race. Montana 5/10 off Alphatrix. He's not going to be close enough for the move. Tell you somebody that might be Larkin on the back of D. Daniel. He's on the back of Spine as well in turn, and I don't think they're going to be close enough. Dropye, however, on a set of soft compound of tyres is surely going to commit round the outside, coming into Lecom. Brilliant stuff by Dropye. The Dutchman is up on Killer Blue, the Brit. It's just made to look an ordinary driver. Dropye is through and he's up to 14th.
Yeah, and right now at the moment, Matthias is going to be right on the back of Toxic now that Doom's out of the race. He is going to be the lead soft runner, and that puts him in the best position to make up the positions on all of the older medium runners at the moment, including Toxic, who's been on the tyres 2 laps more than everyone else. So they're going to be a little bit more worn as Larkin going deep into the corner. Could see Toxic maybe trying to jump through the window of opportunity. He hasn't managed to go through in Camper's section, but now it's going to be crucial for these guys coming up towards Blanchimont. So now on the exit of Stabilo, will Toxic try and commit to the move? He's in the slipstream and he is using some of his ERS. He's going to turn that down, but what about Matthias? You know what, it is completely flipped over for him. He was being the victim at this corner. Now he is on the attack and he's on Toxic. Could he go around the outside? He's going to go on the brakes and he goes too deep. Oh my word.
And somehow he hasn't lost the position. How on earth has he not lost the position? There, he stays 11th. Even running wide, everyone around him pretty much had to fall in line there. Campbell down the inside line of Matthias and now Verstappen trying to line him up, but Matthias parting on the Red Sea gets back through and now we're side by side, Verstappen and Campbell. These guys are surely not going to go side by side up through a Rouge and Rally on Verstappen, backs off. This lets now Dropye into play. All of the QVR guys are surrounding each other here out on track in Division 1. Matthias now getting a superb run on Toxic. Look at Campbell trying to make it 3 wide and look at Verstappen and Dropye. 5 drivers covered by 2.5 tenths of Matthias is through on Toxic. Brilliant stuff down the inside line. Now Campbell on the inside line coming through Lecom forces Toxic out wide. This is unbelievable racing. We've got the other AlphaTauri behind on the Mercedes. Verstappen is through on Dropye. Absolutely unreal racing in Belgium. This is why I said it would be an instant classic, and I'm not half wrong.
Well, now Toxic just letting his teammate go through, and he's probably going to want to try and... Oh my goodness me, Dropye don't... Oh, he's trying to go around the outside. He can't make the move. What? Tell you what, that would have been move of the season if he managed to make that stick. But unfortunately, he just stayed behind, and I am sorry for what I said earlier about this not being the race of the season, because you know what, it is a true candidate for it. This has been some of the best racing I've ever seen in league racing history.
Droppier now on the back of Toxic, and Toxic just pulls to the side and lets him through, and it looks like actually Toxic might have accepted defeat. He's on a set of medium compound of tyres that might not necessarily last him to the end of the race. Killer Blue and Cohen as well, with DRS now enabled. Alphatrix leads, Montana second, Toxic now into the pit lane, being overtaken left, right and centre. Retires coming into the pit lane as well, which is really unfortunate. I could have seen it coming, to be honest, but I'm not really going to dwell over that. We're going to dwell on that. We're not going to dwell on the past, we'll rather dwell on the future, because Montana tries to catch Alphatrix now down the Kemmel straight. This is for the lead of the race. Spine as well is closing up just in behind, and we'll come on board with that now. And Spine to the inside line easily overtakes the German, the Swissman on the German. They might be separated by a border or two, but Spine is doing it up into 6 on Neo, and Matthias is trying to fight past Larkin. Matthias is on an absolute charge.
You know what, he is going to be a candidate for Driver of the Day today, just because he's finally got the car beneath him. He's had a tough start in Division 1, but you know what, the strategy is just absolutely played into his hands, and he has worked it perfectly. He's making his moves, and now he's got a couple more drivers on the mediums up ahead of him, like Larkin, D. Daniel and Neo as well. So yeah, he's going to have a really good opportunity to get some decent points. He's already in 10th, which is a good amount of points. Top 12, of course, getting points in Division, in League of Europe. And what are you saying?
Larkin having a little bit of an oversteer moment coming through campus, and lets Matthias back into the fray to possibly have a go through Blanchimont, which tends to be now his favourite corner out on track, because we've seen him try and get the move done there, and still hold on to the position coming through bus stop as well. Verstappen trying to close up on Campbell, but look at Matthias. He's going to have a go, I think, at Larkin. Is it going to be this time? Second time's a charm. Jam the inside into the bus stop chicane, forces Larkin out wide. Larkin sees him coming. Matthias tries to switch it back on the set of softs. Now, side by side, running down the straight, down towards the source of turn 1, and I think Matthias could switch to the inside line. He does! Down the inside line, he dummies him down into the source, but Larkin is still there. He's still on the inside line, and the Racing Point and the McLaren do not know when to quit coming down towards the Rouge and Radion. This is absolutely unbelievable racing. We've got Montana catching Alphatrix as well for the lead of the race, and do you know what? Montana's getting closer. Montana's getting closer. Launches it down the inside line. Job done. Montana is through and he's into the lead of the race. Beautifully timed as we ride on board. Montana is through and he's into the lead of the race. Game on.
Absolute brilliant stuff throughout the field, as now Alphatrix going to be on the back foot just a little bit here. He has to keep with Montana, stay within about 5/10 if he wants to make a move on the DRS. I'm surprised that Matthias didn't eventually make that move stick, probably because Larkin got DRS on D. Daniel, and that didn't allow for Matthias to take DRS to full effect. Is now coming through Pouan. He is right on the back of the Racing Point car, and he could definitely sense a move coming through Pouan, but Montana already extending his gap on Alphatrix, and Connor's not too far off this fight. Connor could win in his first race if he just takes advantage of these two scrapping. In Division 1, this could be his first win in his debut.
M. Short as well in 4th, and Suku not out of this either. He finished 3rd last time out in Hungary, and he's trying to make it stick now on M. Short. He's going to try and make the run in towards bus stop, but I don't think he's going to be close enough for a launch down the inside into bus stop. Saying that, he is going to come in it down the inside and they make contact. M. Short and Suku remain in position. Contact, I think Suku just trying to get a little bit greedy, I think, on the brakes. Campbell is through on Matthias, however, in the background, and there's all sorts kicking off in the background. Campbell, Verstappen, Matthias has dropped down. Droppier now trying to get the move done around the outside of Verstappen, coming through La Source. God almighty, we're in for an absolute treat, and Verstappen's being tagged by Matthias, trying to go down the inside line. Matthias tags Verstappen, and Matthias now down into 14, Verstappen 15. Look at this, we could have three-way for the lead as well. Connor closing in on Alphatrix. Now Alphatrix closing on Montana, and now Connor has to switch it to the inside line. Alphatrix is back through for the lead of the race, I think, but Montana is not giving up at all. Down the inside line, now on the outside line, and now Connor's got a tremendous run. He could get both of them down in towards Bruxelles, but he's not close enough, and Alphatrix is hanging on for absolute grim life. He finally gets the move done. I tell you what, this is the race of the season. Alphatrix now leads, Montana second, Connor in third, and my God, are you guys getting treated to a hell of a race here in Belgium?
Well, I tell you what, Christmas really has come early for all of the League of Europe viewers, because 5 tenths separate the leaders of the Grand Prix. And Connor getting a big oversteering moment. He almost loses it through Campos, and I think Matthias unfortunately loses it through Puon. What could have been for him?
It's your driver of the day comment that I think has now made him bottle. I think that's on track.
Jinxed him.
You've jinxed him completely. Montana's trying to have a go as well on Alphatrix, coming in towards bus stop. I don't think he's going to be close enough. He's going to wait rather down towards La Source, and you actually see Montana harvest that ERS back up slightly, down in towards the bus stop chicane. 3 laps to go. It could change any sort and which way. Alphatrix leads, well, Montana in second, Connor third, M Short is still within a chance of winning this one. Suku, Spine, Neo, D. Daniel, Larkin. Tell you what, the top 9 are covered by less than 5 seconds. In Belgium, a track that is never necessarily this close towards the end of the race, Montana now is going to have a second attempt to try and close in on Alphatrix. Does he require the overtake mode to try and get through? I think he might rather just wait in behind here. No, he's not. He's going to go down the inside line into Lecombe, and he think he gets the move done, but Alphatrix switches to the inside line, and Montana, brilliant stuff, ran the outside line. And I tell you what, these guys do not know when to give in. The amount of respect and the amount of great racecraft here in Belgium is why we love our sport. And Montana is through, and he's into the lead of the race.
Well, the top 4 all separated by 1 second. And that is something. 4 cars all within that time frame, of course. Alphatrix losing a little bit to Montana, but they are all still keeping relatively close to each other, and we could see a sensational battle. When all the gloves come off and they've got their knuckle dusters on, they can have a true street fight on the final lap. And now just coming through Blanchimont now, it looks like Connor's dropping off a little bit, could leave him at the mercy of M Short. And now he's actually got a really good run through Blanchimont, has M Short, but Alphatrix also pretty close through Blanchimont as well. I don't know who to watch. I think M Short could maybe sense an opportunity here now, coming into the bus stop chicane. He's going to look to the outside. No, he's just going to hang back for a little bit, get the DRS on Connor and stick behind him, and maybe try and save a little bit of ERS, which Montana has done a really good job of, actually.
Yeah, Montana carrying 6% more than Alphatrix. Final 2 laps, Montana leads. Suku down the inside of M Short. I think M Short might have run wide, and now Suku takes full advantage. And now M Short is going to try and battle back, and they're not going to go side by side through a Rouge and Rally. Or no, they might, and Suku just has to hang on. But M Short is not giving up this one without a fight. He's running limited ERS, but he's going to try and come back down the inside line. Suku tries to defend. Into the middle of the track he comes. M Short now on the inside line might favour the brave. Down the inside line, Suku on the outside line. They're not giving in at all. This is absolutely unreal racing, and he fights the position back, turns a negative intra positive, and M Short is fighting for his life. He is through. Neo is now through on Spine, just in behind perhaps, coming through Bruxelles, and now in towards 6. Spine holds on for that position, but my God, my voice is going, and I think yours is as well.
Absolutely tantalising is the only thing I can really describe this race as, and it is definitely race of the season. And you know what, they've been getting better and better each and every week, and I think this is our cap. This race has been so incredible, and you were right, it was boring. And I think there's a car off, and it's Neo or it's Spine or someone. It's Spine that's gone off, and he's lost a couple positions. Luckily he's kept it out of the wall, so he's managed to be okay in that regard. Alphatrix is not that close coming through Blanchimont, but I tell you what, for the Kemmel Straight, these two can have an absolutely mighty battle. And whoever wins this race is going to be pleased with themselves. No matter where they finish in the championship, they can say, I won the Belgian Grand Prix.
Oh, I thought Campbell was going to go down the inside line on Spine. He was close enough, but not getting the move done. Final lap begins here in Belgium. Alphatrix closing up as he might to Montana. Both of them take a wide out line coming through turn 1. And actually, they're going to give a run to Connor. And I think they're going to make this 3 wide. They might be in the same party here. And Connor, with more ERS actually, to try and dissolve coming up the Kemmel Straight. might get these two. Montana and Alphatrix have been a little bit brave with this, and now Connor is going to come at them. And Connor now, possibly 3 wide, down the straight, and Connor switches to the inside line. Oh my goodness me, Montana and Alphatrix, they make side-by-side contact. And now M. Short is down a position. Suku is through on him and behind. Connor right on the back of these two. He switches to the inside line. Alphatrix is going to be bullied, possibly down in the inside through Purcell. And Alphatrix trying to hang on for grim life, trying to forces them nearly off the track. That gives Montana now a bit of breathing room out in front. Half a lap to go, please take over.
Okay, so now coming through Puwan,
Montana!
they're still just running so close, and could have been a bit of a heart-in-mouth moment from the leader there, but now coming through the campus section of the track, it's all seeming to calm down just a little bit, but it is not over for these two, because Blanchimont is a key overtaking opportunity. But you know what, I think Montana might have this one, because now coming off the exit of Stabilo, it's going to be a bit more pressure coming from Connor onto Alphatrix. So who is going to take second position? I think Montana is going to be safe in the lead of this one, but I'll tell you what, Connor's got a brilliant run coming through Blanchimont.
He's going to have a go!
Go for it, son. Just send it. It's the final lap.
Round the outside of stop. Can he get the moves on? Montana on the inside. He's got it. Connor's got second. Montana now coming across the line to win here in Belgium. Connor has brought that up somehow for second. Alphatrix in third. Absolutely unreal. Suku, M. Short, Neo, D. Daniel, Larkin, Campbell, Killer Blue, Spine, Dropier, all in the points. Verstappen now across the line to finish in 14th. Oh my goodness me. I said it was going to be I thought it was going to be a race of season candidate, but nothing like that. Dropier's awarded driver of the day. You could give it to a whole host of drivers here tonight in Belgium. But Montana has now brought the gap down to 2 points, I think, coming into next week. I'm not sure who picked up the fastest lap of the race, but look at him. He's pleased with himself, and so he should be. Montana takes the win in Belgium. Oh my goodness me, Connor on his debut in second and Alphatrix in third. That is possibly one of the best races I've ever commentated on.
I think it definitely is the best race that I've commentated on. And you know what, I'm glad it was with you, James.
You're so kind. You're so kind, honestly. Montana takes the win. Not many penalties. And look at the gaps towards the end of the race. Top 10 separated by less than 7 seconds. Montana takes the win from Connor in second, Alphatrix in third, Suku in fourth, M. Short finishing in fifth with Neo in sixth, D. Daniel in seventh, Larkin in eighth, Campbell, I think, best of the soft runners in the end in ninth with Killer Blue in 10th, Spine in 11th, Dropier in 12th, Verstappen 13th, Cohen, I think he gets fastest lap point, so he picks up an extra point in 14th, Matthias in 15th, and these are the DNFers from 15th downwards. Matthias, Toxic, Rocco, June, Kooky Games, just ASAS unfortunately out of the race, 2 safety cars, 1 VSC, an instant classic in Belgium, and we go to Italy next week.
I'm actually lost for words. That was what I've just watched. I don't think I'm ever going to get to commentate over a better race than that, and I tell you what, I think the real star is not the man that won, but I think Connor. You really just have to take your hat off to him. In his debut race in Division 1, he picks up a podium and overtakes the leader, the championship leader, around the outside of the final corner on the final lap. It does not get any more better than that. I'm even messing up my words. It does not get better than that.
It does not get better than that at all, and Connor will be absolutely thrilled. I'm sure there'll be a few alcoholic drinks being cracked open in his household there tonight. But what a race in Belgium. If you have been so fortunate enough to watch this, watch it back again and again and again, because honestly, it got exciting for us in the commentary box, but I'm sure all of you at home needed a lift. The COVID restrictions are coming back into force in the UK. You needed a lift on a Saturday night, and that is your lift. I have never been prouder of being a commentator at a top tier for a league than League of Europe, and that race just comes to show it, because that is honestly one of the best races I have commentated on, and every single driver, whether you are listening now or listening later on, give yourself a pat on the back, give yourself a round of applause, because you delivered, and this is why we love Division 1 so much.
I cannot agree any more with anything that you said. Just tune in next week because it'll get even better. They've been every week, right? Ever since I've come into the commentary box, I think it's me just being the best in the world. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Of course, it's up to these drivers, but every race got better and better. So if the trend says anything, Italy is going to be probably the best race of all time in real life and in the game.
I hope so. I just hope we haven't reached our crescendo from this week in Belgium, because honestly, we need to take a break after that. If you've been whetted your appetite even further, may I tempt you to watch Division 2 and Division 5 in just a few minutes' time. Back around here in Belgium, it is of course J. Cole and Verstappen taking you through Division 2. Dakar not available here tonight either in Division 1 or in Division 2 for comms, but you're in the capable hands of J. Cole and Verstappen for that one. And in Division 5, Ivor Bryn Mike is going solo, and he will be taking you through the Division 5 action if you want to tune in for that. And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you after Division 1, if you are on a high like us? Do like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you are new and you reviewed League of Europe for the first time. And this, honestly, is why we love our sport so much. This is honestly why we love commentary so much. A race like that, everyone should be very proud of themselves. The organisers cannot fault them for putting this on. Absolutely unreal. This is not my final commentary, don't worry. We'll be back next week in Italy to take you through Division 1. From myself and Dan, please stay safe out there. Please look after yourselves, look after your family, and tell them to watch this race back. Thank you so much for watching here in Belgium. And until next week in Italy, goodbye.